This call is now being recorded.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Here I will discuss about techno-economic analysis NIFE 24 or nickel ferrite with sonochemical method. First, I want to discuss about the introduction. Here, the introduction contains about background, conventional sensor problem, material solution, characteristic of nickel ferrite, and research objective. First, background about the need for sensors, especially humidity sensors, continues to increase to support the safety and comfort of human life and various industries such as pharmaceuticals, food, electronics, agriculture, and nuclear power plants. Next is conventional sensor problems. Humidity sensors often experience problems with sensitivity, selectivity, and stability due to the exposure to complex atmospheric conditions. Nickel ferrite are preferred over polymer-based or single metal oxide sensor due to their nanoscale size, large surface area, and chemical stability. And the characteristic of nickel ferrite is inverse spinel structure, ferromagnetic properties, and temperature-dependent photocatalytic activity, make it a very promising candidate for electronic sensors application. And the research objective is to evaluate the technical and economic feasibility of industrial scale production of nickel ferrite nanoparticles using sonochemistry or sonochemical, as this method is considered efficient. First, to do a techno-economical analysis is how to determine equipment, raw material, and utility. I will share about the Excel file, how to calculate all of the item and all of the calculation for techno-economic analysis. This sheet contains raw data. All cost calculations start from here. First is how to determine equipment. The list of main equipment includes sonicator bed, centrifugation, induction heating machine, hydraulic press, oven, and the others. Pricing can be viewed on the e-commerce such as Alibaba, Tokopedia, and the others, such using the price list in the corresponding specification on factory scale. To determine the equipment, it's necessary to search several journals related to the synthesis method that will be used in this study. For example, in this study, because it used the sonochemistry or sonochemical method, a sonicator bed is required. The same applies to the other equipment. Here, I use the sonicator bed because I use the sonochemical method. Okay. The next is raw material. Raw material, the chemical used is natrium hydroxide, nickel nitrate, and ferrite nitrate. For the raw material is to determine the variable cost. The variable cost first about natrium hydroxide and nickel nitrate and ferrite nitrate. And for the price, here natrium hydroxide in my country is about 54,000 rupiah per kilogram or $3.6 per kilogram. And in this research, I used around 68 kilogram natrium hydroxide, and we can calculate in the 1 day per day is about $244.8 for natrium hydroxide. This is how to calculate how much raw material is used. The second is utility. Utility, here I will calculating electricity consumption for the below appliance, such as I use ultrasonic bed. Ultrasonic beds, ultrasonic bed I use 1, and the kilowatt is 1.5 kilowatt, and the usage is 5 hours. For kilowatt is 5 times 1.5. Here I use 7.5 kilowatt. And for the price in my country, the price for per kilowatt is 1,380 rupiah. And I can calculate the usage of electricity consumption for ultrasonic bed is 7.5 times 1,380 rupiah. And for one day is 10,350 rupiah. And I can calculate to for 1 month and a year. This is how to calculate for another equipment too. The next is theoretical synthesis of nickel ferrite. Raw material or reactant using ferrinitrate, nickel nitrate, and natrium hydroxide with the molar ratio is 1, 2, and 8. For the synthesis process, first mixing the nitrate solution with natrium hydroxide 6 molar in ultrasonic bed at room temperature, and we can control the pH is maintained at 11 until 13. The reaction lasts for 5 hours, followed by centrifugation at 15,000 rpm for 15 minutes. The precipitate is washed 10 times with distilled water and dried at 363 Kelvin for 36 hours. The sample is formed into pellets and annealed for the heat at this temperature with controlled heating rate. And the next is energy and mass balance. This is very important to calculate the usage of raw material such as nickel nitrate, ferrinitrate, and natrium hydroxide. Calculating material and energy requirement for production scale up, or we will upscaling the reaction or cycle reaction. Production capacity, I will the target for the production target is approximately 50 kg of nickel ferrite nanoparticle per cycle reaction. And for one reaction cycle is 2 days. Takes me 2 days. And for material requirement is 62 kg nickel nitrate and 171 kg ferrinitrate and 68 kg natrium hydroxide and water. And this is cost and profit. I will calculate it in the next slide. And profit is here. Next calculation. And for the reaction is first nickel nitrate, and the second is ferrinitrate, and the last is how to calculate the stoichiometric reaction to determine each raw material how much we'll use in this reaction or this synthesis method. Okay. Next is economic evaluation. Okay, before we discuss about economic evaluation, I will discuss about how we can get a ratio molar in this reactant. How much we use nickel nitrate, ferrinitrate, and natrium hydroxide. The calculation is based on this stoichiometric reaction. This is the equal stoichiometric reaction. We can use this reaction to determine each raw material, how much we can use this raw material. Okay, I will see you the calculation. Here, for the nickel nitrate, 62 kilograms, and ferrinitrate is 171 kilograms, and NaOH or natrium hydroxide is 68 kilograms. In my journal, here the calculation how we can get the molar ratio is 1 to an 8. The target production is 50 kilogram of nickel ferrite. How we can get this mass balance? Based on the reaction is nickel and fer or the iron, and then the nitrate ion, and the water, and the natrium hydroxide. This is the stoichiometric reaction. For the first, I will show you the stoichiometric reaction. Ne2 plus and 2 ferrite plus and 8 nitrate minus and water and 8 natrium hydroxide. This is the stoichiometric reaction to calculate how we can produce the product of this reaction. The usage is 62 kilogram, and then the molar mass is 209 gram per mole for nickel nitrate and 404 gram per mole for ferrinitrate, and for natrium hydroxide is 40 gram per mole. With this value, we can calculate mole of each raw material. Here, the nickel nitrate is 294.5 mole, and for ferrinitrate is 423.26 mole, and for natrium hydroxide is 1,700 moles. And for the stoichiometric reaction, we can write 295.4 for the Ne2 plus, and for 2 Fe3 plus is 423.2, and here, and the for natrium hydroxide is 1,700 moles. Now for this reaction, we can determine which raw material, and for the Fe plus, divided by 2 because this is the coefficient reaction of Fe3 plus, and the result is 211.5 mole. This is the Fe3 plus react with another raw material. And the next is We can use the coefficient to determine how much Ne2 plus react with another reactant is 211.5 mole, because the Ne2 plus is one coefficient, and the next is natrium hydroxide. Natrium hydroxide we can determine from step before. The result is 1069 to 100. We can write here. From the reaction, we can determine the mole of nickel ferrite produced by this reaction. Because the coefficient is 1 and here is 1, this is equal. Now, 211.5 mole produced in this reaction of nickel ferrite. We can calculate the mole to how much we can produce the nickel ferrite in one cycle reaction process. The nickel ferrite can calculate the mass molar. The mass molar of nickel ferrite is 234.381 gram per mole, and for the mole after the reaction is 211.5 mole, and with the mole formulas is mole is mass divided by molar mass, and then we can get the mass is mole times molar mass, and then 211.5 mole times 234.381 gram per mole. Here the result is around 49.57 kilograms, or we can say it around 50 kilograms of nickel ferrite. And the molar ratio is 1 to NH. 211.5 from Ne2 plus and 423.2 from Fe3 plus and 1892 from natrium hydroxide. And the molar ratio is 1 to N8. Okay, this is calculation for mass balance. The next is sorry. Okay, the energy and mass balance can determine that 62 of nickel nitrate and 171 of ferric nitrate and 68 from natrium hydroxide. The next is economic evaluation. Economic evaluation are conducted using industry standard parameter with the help of Microsoft Excel. We can calculate these parameters with Microsoft Excel, such as TIC, GPM, PVP, and GNVP, NPI. The total investment cost is initial capital or initial cost. Gross profit margin or GPM is gross profit. Payback period is return on investment when cumulative net present value is 0. And cumulative net present value is a value to predict production condition as a function in 1 year. And the CNVV here will calculate every year for 10 years. And profitability index is investment return index. We can use the assumption is course in my country $1 is 15,000 rupiah. And the project duration is 10 years and time of production is 300 days per year, and we can use the assumption about tax in my country is 10%. The next sheet in my Excel, you can see the calculating and the formula in my Excel. The next is total investment cost. Total investment cost is the first parameter to use the economic evaluation. What is the total investment cost? This should calculate how much money must be prepared in advance before the factory begins operating. The method used is factorial multiplying the price of the equipment by a certain percentage. Here I'll calculate, but this is in every page about physical cost is equipment, and then physical cost about management service and starting up fee. The equipment cost component is calculated based on the purchased equipment that has been calculated on the equipment, raw material prices, and utility sheets before, with a total cost of around $39,000. Each component of physical equipment cost is multiplied by its respective factor against the purchased equipment cost. This is the factor. For example, for piping, physical cost is the factor is 0.5 factor, and this is the 50% of the total cost from purchased equipment. Thus, at the end, the equipment subtotal is summed up. This is around $134,000. This is a subtotal for physical cost equipment. And the next is physical cost management services. This is contains about construction, engineering, constructor fee, and the contingencies. Is calculated by multiplying the estimated factor by the purchased equipment value, resulting in the management services, and the subtotal is around $178,000. This result is without we calculate with total PC minus the land. However, if we assume that we do not need to purchase land for the initial construction of the factory, then we simplify, subtract the price total PC minus land to get this price is $158,000 without purchase the land for initial construction. And for the starting up fee, we can use for start up the industry. The starting up fee contains offsite facilities, plant startup, working capital, and for the subtotal is around here. The TIC value is too specific. First is TPC plus starting up fee, and the TIC minus the land. This is the first value, and this is the second. Okay. Next is after we calculate the total investment cost and we get the final result of TIC, the result is 2. First is TIC, TPC plus starting up fee, and the second is TIC minus land. The next section is manufacturing cost, gross profit margin, return of investment or ROI. The section we can calculate the manufacturing cost for initial industry and gross profit margin and return of investment. Manufacturing cost is the total cost incurred to convert raw material into the finished product. Here, the manufacturing cost is in 1 day, in a month, and for annual. The manufacturing cost we can calculate from each factor. First, raw material, the utility, loan interest, operating labor, labor-related costs contain payroll overhead, supervisory missed labor, laboratory charge. And the next is capital-related costs such as maintenance, operating supplies, environment, depreciation, local taxes or insurance, plant overhead costs. And the last section is sales-related costs such as packaging, administration, distribution and marketing, research and development, and patents and royalties. And the factor is we can the percentage such as loan interest is 70%, and then the other we can use the percentage. The labor related cost based on of labor price. The labor price we can determine from here the salary per person and the salary for all the person. 40% of my worker is determined by myself based on my needs, and for the salary is for 1 day around $6.67, and this is for a month, and this is for the annual. And for the target, my target for the selling is 50 kilogram in 1 day, and we can calculate for a month, and we can calculate for a year. And the price for 1 kilogram of my product is $150. This is determined by the market price. Okay, in calculating manufacturing cost, we must estimate total production cost based on daily, monthly, and annual values for several components. This is the several component. Here, 7 component. And then labor cost calculated based on estimate wages per person, assuming that we need 40 workers. We estimate wages to be around $6.67 per day, so we can calculate monthly and annual wages for all workers. The sales value is calculated based on daily production in kilogram here. Then the unit price per kilogram is estimated based on the market price, but it is better to estimate below the market price for competitive reason. By multiplying the daily product and the unit price, we can obtain the total sales price per day, per month, and a year. This is the total price, the selling price in 1 day, 1 month, and 1 year. In this result, we can calculate the profit estimation. Here, the sales and the total manufacturing cost. Sales minus total factoring cost is the profit. And for gross profit margin, we can calculate for a day, a month, and a year. For the selling price is $7,500 for a year, for a day, and the next is the evaluation process. Okay, for the gross profit margin, gross profit margin measures how much money remains from sales after deducting direct material cost. It shows the added value of your product. And the ROI is the percentage of net profit earned compared to the total capital invested. The next is fixed costs, variable cost, and break-even point. This is very important part in economic evaluation. The section analyzes production risk consisting of calculation of fixed cost, variable cost, estimated profit percentage, and break-even point. Here, each section about fixed cost, variable cost, and profit estimated, then break-even point. Fixed cost is cost that must be incurred even if the factory is not production. And the variable cost that increase when production increase, such as raw material, utilities, and packaging. And the break-even point is a condition where a business doesn't incur losses, but also does not make a profit. At this point, the total money coming in from sales is exactly equal to the total cost incurred. And for the formula, break-even point is fixed costs divided by sales per year minus variable cost per year and times total of unit per pack. Fixed cost consists of loan interest, if any, capital-related cost, fixed costs plus depreciation, and fixed costs minus depreciation. Capital-related costs are obtained by adding up the total capital-related cost on the manufacturing cost, GPM, and ROI sheets. The same applies to depreciation, the process of gradually reducing the value of fixed assets, such as buildings, machinery, and vehicle, of time due to use, wear and tear, or other factors such as obsolescence and technological changes. By adding up the fixed cost factor, we obtain the fixed cost value. Next is to calculate the variable cost value. Variable cost that increase when production increase, such as raw material, utilities, packaging. The variable cost value is determined based on the price of raw materials, utilities, operating labor, labor-related cost, and sales-related cost obtained in the previous calculation. Next, calculate the estimated profit percentage based on the selling price, manufacturing cost, investments, startup fees, and profit to sales. Profit to sales is profit ratio compared to the selling price or sales efficiency. And profit to investment is profit ratio compared to startup fees or asset utilization efficiency. The next is break-even point. The break-even point value is determined based on the target number of units. This is we can use the pack, which is the target is 15,000 per year based on the previous calculation. Fixed cost price, variable cost price, dollars per year, and variable cost is dollar per pack, and sales dollar per year, and sales dollar per pack. The variable cost price is determined by dividing the variable cost price by the number of units packed per year. The same applies to sales. After we obtain each price to calculate the break-even point, use the following formula. This is the formula. We get the fixed cost, sales per year, and variable cost per year. For the details in each formulas, in every cell in my Excel, I add the formula to calculate every parameters for calculating the break-even point. And my calculation is the break-even point reached at 758 pack per year. Since the factory is designed for 15,000 pack, the BEP, the break-even point, is very low, or this is the safe production. Okay, the next is cumulative net present value, payback period, and profitability index. This is the most crucial analysis because it takes into account the time value of money. The cumulative net present value we calculate in every year. In first area, the orange area is the first period or construction period, 2 or 3 years. This is contain cash flow, and we focus on investment and construction the buildings. This is why in investment land in the first year or the zero at the initial year, this is we don't use the price in every needs, but the second year or in 2022 investment land and land, we start the construction for building industries. Can use the assumption this is for construction period is 2 years. We focus on cash outflow and investment. And the second assumption is production period. The production period is from 3rd year to 10th year. What is the difference between the construction period and production period? For the construction period, the production capacity is 0%. But the production period, we increase the production capacity into the 100% until the 10th year. And discount rate or interest is 15%. This is the minimum desired profit threshold. Okay, we can discuss in each year. The first year is 2022 until second year 2023. This is we have to calculate every parameters for to get the cumulative net present value, payback period, and profitability index of BI. In the first year, it is expected that the project will allocate 40% of investment land budget based on the calculation in the TIC sheet. It will also allocate the land budget for initial construction of the factory. As a result, the cash flow obtained will still be negative. Here, the cash flow for 2022 is minus or negative, minus $87,000, because we allocate 40% budget for investment land and land. This is how to calculate in this next year, because in 2023 we allocate to investment land around 60% for budgeting, and we start for budgeting working capital. Now, here in every parameter, first a cash flow, and then cumulative cash flow, and then discounted factor, net present value, and then after obtaining the NPV, net present value price, we can calculate the cumulative net present value, and the next we can get the value of cumulative net present value per investment using the formula. Okay, the cash flow is calculated using this formula. Cash flow is after tax profit plus depreciation minus working capital minus land and minus investment land. Then cumulative cash flow is calculated using the formula is cumulative cash flow a year before plus cash flow this year, and discounted factor calculated by this formula, 1 plus discount rate divided by 1 times end of year. And then the net present value calculated by cash flow times discounted factor. After obtaining the NPV or net present value price, the cumulative net present value is calculated by the NPV a year before plus net present value in this year. Next, to calculate the cumulative net present value per investment using the formula is cumulative net present value divided by TIC minus land plus land price. How we can interpret the CNPV per investment formula, the result. If the value is 1, it means that the project has a mediocre return on investment, or we can say it the break-even. Or if the value is greater than 1, it means the project is profitable. Now we can see that in the first year, the result is minus. This is the value minus means that we cannot produce profit in 2 years first. Okay, the next is cumulative net present value per investment, or we can use to cumulative net present value per TIC. The means is the ratio between time adjusted net present value, CNVV, divided by initial capital investment or total investment cost, referred to as profitability index or net profitability index. And the next is second year. In the second year, or in 2023, the project expected to allocate 60% of investment land budget based on the calculation in the TIC sheet. And investment land here, the investment land and land price, we calculate based on the TIC or total investment cost before we calculated it. This year, the project also allocate funds for working capital in accordance with the calculation in the TIC sheet. However, the factory is still not operation this year, as it's still focused on construction, so variable cost, fixed cost, and other costs have not yet been calculated. As a result, the cash flow and cumulative net present value per total investment cost or profitability index values are still negative. Okay, the next is third year, 2024. In this year, the company no longer allocate budget for investment land, and working capital, as it will focus on production. Therefore, the budget for variable cost, fixed cost, and other will begin to be used. As a result, production capacity will start at 100%, whereas in the previous years it was still at 0% due to the focus on development. And in this year, we increase the production capacity until 100% because 3 years before we focus on construction, we focus of building, investment land, working capital, and the others. Now, variable cost are calculated by multiplying total variable cost by production capacity. Fixed cost, sales, and depreciation are obtained from previous year calculation. The next is pre-tax profit. Pre-tax profit. Pre-tax profit is calculated by pre-tax profit sales minus variable cost plus fixed cost. The formula is pre-tax is sales minus variable cost plus fixed cost. We calculated before about variable cost and the fixed cost. Meanwhile, taxable profit, here the taxable profit. Taxable profit is calculated by subtracting depreciation from the pre-tax profit. Income tax, we assume that the tax is 10%. Income tax is then obtained by multiplying taxable profit by 10%. 10% is estimated tax. After tax profit is calculated by subtracting income tax is 10% from taxable profit, and in the third year, the cumulative net present value per total investment cost or profitability index calculation result begin to turn positive, and the trend is start positive. This means that the project has started to generate profit. This year also marks the achievement of the payback period, and the payback period or BP, it starts in third year, because in the third year the cumulative net present value per investment or cumulative net present value per total investment cost or profitability index it start positive. Okay, and for the next year is fourth year until 10th year. For the calculate in the next year 2025 until the 2030, same analysis was conducted to examine the operating condition of the factory after 4 to 10 years. After obtain the cumulative net present value per TIC or profitability index value, create a graph between CNVP per TIC and the lifetime years. And then this is the CNVP per TIC, and the X is lifetime. In here the initial years, This is the first year, second year, third year, and 10 years. We can see that in the third year, here the value is start positive. This is the payback period. Okay. The next is variation in each variable. I use some variables to analyze how we can calculate if the sales is changed, the tax is changed, increase or decrease, the utilities, raw material prices. I hope the raw material prices, the utilities, the tax, the sales is stable in every year. But the reality is this parameter is very fluctuative. The raw material prices can be increased or decreased in every year, and we can handle it for the difference price in every year. And the last is worker wages. Okay, the variation to see the effect of changes in sales price, we can vary the sales volume, for example, from 80% to 120%. This variation depends on the analysis we want to use. We could use a minimum sales variation. For example, I want to use the lowest the lowest condition of sales is 60%. It means that from the targets is 15,000 packs is times by 60%. Here we calculate that if the sales is 60% from the target, how the value of cumulative present net value per total investment cost in every year. Okay, in a sense, sales outside our expectation. The method is to multiply the sales price for each year by the desired variation price. This will change the cumulative net present value per total investment cost value. After that, recreate the graph of cumulative net present value per total investment cost against its lifetime year by year. Perform the analysis as done in the previous stage after obtain the graph. And the result is here, for example, for variation of sales. I use the lowest condition of sales is 80%, and the highest sales is 120%. And this is the graph. First, when the variation sales is 80%, the graph is the blue, and 90%, 100%. This is based on the calculation in my Excel before. And here 100%, and then this is the highest variation of sales is 120%. Okay, this is the economic evaluation. The economic evaluation, we finally get the value of cumulative present net value per total investment cost in every year from the initial year until the 10th year. We can see, we can analyze how the GNVV per TIC condition or value be positive or negative. If the GNVV per TIC is negative, it means that we can't produce a profit in this year. But if the GNPV per TIC, the value is positive, that it means that the industry start produce a profit. Oke, sekian yang bisa disampaikan. Jika ada pertanyaan, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.